Under Roe v. Wade, they had the right to kill the baby after birth. I mean, literally after birth in some cases.
Let's be clear. If you heard someone say this at this age, you would throw them in the old folks' home, not the Oval.
Don't worry, I'm not going to do any jokes about the Supreme Court ruling. I had a couple, I didn't think they were ready, so I took it very seriously, but I had to do what was best for me, I don't know if you guys understand how hard it is to raise a premise to a setup to a punchline. It takes a lot of time and love and care, and I just didn't love it like that, you know what I mean? I didn't know if I could give it the love it needed, the resources it needed, you know what I mean? I'm a single comic out here. And I have other premises to raise, so it wasn't an easy decision, but at the end of the day, I had to terminate the punchline, and that's just what that was.
Comedian Akaash Singh has fun at the expense of the Trump-designed SCOTUS's decision regarding Roe because at this point, we just have to.
My wife had this baby 7 weeks before she started the clerkship. It was still not sleeping any more than an hour and a half in a given interval. And her mom just took a sabbatical. She's a biology professor in California. Just took a sabbatical for a year and came and lived with us and took care of our kid for a year.
Okay, so
and it was just one of these things where it's like, this is what you do. And you can sort of see the effect it has on him to be around them. Like they spoil him. There's sort of all the classic stuff that grandparents do to grandchildren. But it makes him a much better human being to have exposure to his grandparents.
Well, I don't know.
And the evidence on this, by the way, is like super clear.
That's the whole purpose of the postmenopausal female in theory.
One of the weirdest men ever in the history of men, J.D. Vance, got shredded.
J.D. Vance. 2016 rolls around, election rolls around, very anti-Trump. Hates Trump. He compares him to Hitler as a person, goes at his policies. 2021, he enters the Senate race. All of a sudden, loves Trump, pro-Trump. Hey, this guy's great. January 6th wasn't that bad. A lot of Democrats are like, what the f***? We loved this guy because he wrote this book in 2016 called Hillbilly Elegy. One policy that he really agrees with Trump on is stopping illegal immigration. He says, my mom almost died, and this is true, from a heroin overdose, from probably drugs that were shipped in here illegally from Mexico. His mom started as a nurse addicted to painkillers and then Oxycontin. When he graduates from Yale Law School, the first law firm he works for represents Purdue Pharma, who makes Oxycontin. Also, this is even crazier, his charity sent a psychiatrist to help people with Oxycontin addictions. The psychiatrist he sent was essentially on Purdue Pharma's payroll, literally did studies being like, Oxycontin's not addictive. It's not that bad. And now you're sending this lady to get these people clean? You're kind of a fraud.
And Singh did it to a T. Well done all around here.
I think we're on the verge of maybe some big news coming out of the Supreme Court, and I hope that happens. I hope that Roe v. Wade gets overturned. This is not healthcare. I'm against abortion.
And I will never, ever change that stance. I will never, ever bend on that stance.
MAGA folks like Carrie Lake spew this, but Singh has a different take.
And I'm pretty sure this is the horniest city I've ever been in my entire life, and I can't explain it. There's just a very horny energy here. I feel like y'all needed to pass that abortion ban. The only thing I will say about it that's funny to me is it feels like a lot of the people who are really pushing for this abortion ban also seem to dislike Latinos, and I just think that's a very ineffective strategy. If you dislike Latinos and want less of them in Arizona, forcing people to get pregnant probably not going to decrease the number. Who do you think is going to have more children? Suzanne in Scottsdale or Maria in Mesa? Who do you think is going to have all the kids? I just think it through is all I'm saying.
It is shocking, however, how close it came between Katie Hobbs and Lake. Be sure to check out her current race for the Senate, where Ruben Gallego is hoping to defeat her yet again.
And I will not give 1 penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or mask mandate.
Let's think about this through the lens of those who help create vaccines that are quite literally life-saving.
How do you guys know each other? Where? We all just accept that as a thing. None of us know what it means. What does it mean? See how quiet them anti-vax audience got? They don't trust you, bitch. 3 people clapped, and the rest of this Republican audience was like, get this bitch. Hey, she put microchips in us. Ain't that crazy? You saved the world, and the internet made everybody think you're killing us all. Which company? You ain't make no vaccine nobody heard of. You ever walk through Walmart and you look at a Hisense TV and you're like, what the f*** is Hisense? Who else has a job that TikTok made us hate? Because of the internet, we respect them not at all. And so we're like, hey, give them their props. Hey, sex workers, come on, show them some respect. They're not criminals like scientists.
Singh hits the nail on the head. Scientists have a target on their backs because of rampant conspiracy theories on the right that has led to their side being filled with tons of people that do not care for public safety. It's maddening and a reminder of the Trump years all over again.
None of this has stopped Republicans from accelerating their war on teachers and turning educators into political pawns in their battle to advance a radical agenda. Governors Greg Abbott of Texas and Ron DeSantis in Florida are poster boys for this campaign, even supporting legislation that intrudes on a teacher's ability to craft lesson plans. The biggest threat facing the Republican Party is a new, multiracial generation of young people unafraid to speak truth to power.
The war on teachers is, for Republicans, intentional. They wish to privatize education, largely to enrich donors, but also dumb down the electorate. Polls show the uneducated vote against their own interests. For teachers, it's just another sad tale where they are mistreated by American society.
How are you, sir? Whitest guy in the room. How's that feel for you? What do you do for a living? That's adorable, dude. Have people already clapped because you guys don't give a that he's a teacher? This guy's teaching all your kids, making $14,000 a year or whatever. Y'all can't even clap for this man? You remember how much you hated your kids in 2020? You taught them for 6 months, you're ready to kill yourselves. This guy, that's his chosen career. He could have been anything he wanted. Look how white he is.
All jokes aside, please support these people and don't make their jobs harder than it already is.
Seeing Donald Trump get up after getting shot in the face and pump his fist in the air with the American flag is one of the most bad things I've ever seen in my life.
And this guy, Singh, has a take as well.
You know what's crazy? My entire marketing plan to sell out this show was I just shit on the city of San Francisco nonstop. And in true fashion, y'all were like, we gotta buy tickets. This is incredible what's happening. Y'all all make the rest of us feel bad about ourselves, like we're not good people because we don't use the right pronouns or whatever. And then y'all work for Silicon Valley, destroying the world from 9 to 5. But God forbid I the 72nd gender. I'm the head. Defund the police. I'm gonna go work for Zuckerberg and get Trump reelected. But defund the police in the meantime.
Akaash Singh is a fantastic comedian that you should check out in person. For tour dates, go to punchup.live/Akaash. For tons of fantastic content, check out his TikTok, which can be found at the handle @Akaash Singh Comedy. His Twitter, because no way in hell we're calling it X, @Akaash Singh, and his Instagram by the exact same handle. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYT Sports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day. This guy.
You talked about legacy.
Former NBA player and current basketball analyst for ESPN, Kendrick Perkins. To put it mildly, he may be in trouble. And it stems from this company that Perkins serves as co-founder. It's called Nilly. From Dan Murphy, who is technically Perkins' co-worker at the Four Letter Network. He writes, Nilly offers upfront payments to athletes in exchange, this is from media, for a percentage of NIL earnings. Nilly is also given exclusive NIL rights, meaning only the company will be able to use or sell an athlete's likeness for a period of time. I'll get to Murphy's write-up in a moment. Perkins teamed up with this dude, though, Christopher Ricciardi, who ESPN calls a Wall Street veteran. Depending on how you feel about Wall Street, may dictate your feelings on this. Nilly is also supported by Harlan Capital Partners, who have been in the investment game for quite some time. Many media reports are indicating that they are committing around or at $200 million. From Sports Illustrated, Nilly has faced scrutiny, with some questioning whether the model takes advantage of broke student athletes needing quick cash. It's been labeled in one word via CBS Sports. ESPN and other major outlets in sports media as predatory. In essence, the scheme goes like this. Nilly offers cash upfront, okay? Anywhere from $25,000 into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. This company will get exclusive rights to use or sell the athlete's name, image, and likeness for up to 7 years. And the company and its investors, just had something come up. The company and its investors receive between 10% and 50% of the player's NIL earnings during that time period. I need to be very clear about this. There are experts who have said, you are trying to, and I'm summarizing, you're trying to get like a 17 or 18-year-old to sign up with your company and you're giving them cash up front, but you're going to, in a way, to an extent, control what they do for the next 7 years? That's a warning. 7 years when you're 18, a lot is going to change. And Perkins is playing up the angle, which is true to an extent, but in this instance, it seems kind of meh, which is, hey, who hasn't been there when you can't afford groceries? Who hasn't been there when, you know, you got to keep the water running and you got to pay rent? And like, I get that. But I do side with the experts who are saying you're going to control this young person essentially for like 7 years. That's a long time. And that expert would go on to say in the ESPN piece, usually we'd advise, you know, someone who could potentially be on the up and up through sports, like do like a year, which is a wide difference between what Perkins is offering and what others would say is a little bit more compliant with reality and with someone's situation. Murphy would write in what I have to say is a must-read piece. Several agents, athletic department employees, and others who work in the college sports industry would tell the network they were unaware of any other company that was paying college athletes in exchange for a cut of their NIL earnings. They would also obtain a contract, which I think is eye-opening, that showed Nilly signed a senior in high school and compensated all of their athletes, by the way, are football and basketball, up to this point. Compensated the athlete $50,000. In return, they would obtain the agreement. They solidify his name, image, and likeness rights for 7 years, and the company gets a 25% cut of his future earnings in name, image, and likeness, which is up to $125,000. In the agreement, the player must do monthly posts on his social media, which I'm really not all that surprised about. Considering the systems in place when it comes to high school football and basketball, highlights, recruiting videos, you know, all it takes is for ESPN or CBS Sports or Fox Sports to start pushing out this person, I mean, in other sports, running track, or oh, this dominant swimmer is taking over high school sports, and then their Instagram starts exploding. There are some high school athletes who have over 1 million followers, over 500,000 followers on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of them. So it's not surprising that Nilly would say, hey, as part of the agreement, we're going to utilize your social media. Because that is a place where, whether it is, you know, future fans, current fans, media types, any others in certain industries that could benefit, they will follow these people and those numbers will be bloated. They also want, in the contract that ESPN obtained, Nilly wants this high school senior to do 10 autograph sessions or sign 10 autographs. And additionally, they need to make at least one public appearance per calendar year, What that is, we'll see. Michael Haddix Jr. serves as the chief executive officer of Scout. He would give the following quote: "To me, it feels like you are preying on people who need the capital now and using that to cloud their focus on the future. It feels predatory, and it's capitalizing on young people who need money and haven't thought through the long-term implications." See, that is what gets me, man. That is exactly what gets me, is that I know they see it as like a long-term investment, and that's probably their reasoning for giving X amount of dollars up front in a formula that they sort of went over in the ESPN piece. And this is also where the predatory quote comes from. The word predatory comes from is this quote, where it's being run with in different headlines here and there. But Haddix Jr. is right on the money. He's right on the money here when he says young people who need money haven't thought through the long-term implications. Because what Nilly, in my opinion, is appearing to do is pigeonhole these future athletes in college, potential draftees is what they're banking on, by saying, we're going to give you a bunch of cash now, but really it's on us. We're the ones taking the risk here. We're the ones giving you money, and we don't even know if you're going to pan out as an athlete at all. But for those 17-year-olds and 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds, it's like, yeah, I mean, I need the cash, and it's not a given that I'm going to be great, but I would be getting this now, and I would be able to provide. That's how they see it. Chris Peterson, though, a professor of law at Utah, I believe the University of Utah, an ex-advisor for the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, would give a startling quote, in my opinion. He said some of the fine print in Nilly resembled financial products that serve as loans. His quote, a quote, "These are trashy products designed to take advantage of young kids." And to that I say, damn. Damn. I will also say this. What I think is important in this day and age, everybody wants to be entertained, and, you know, ESPN signing Cam Newton is certainly another peel of the 2024 sports media onion that's just showing itself, and what the biggest sports network of all time is advocating for. We need this. I have talked about this time and time and time again. ESPN decimating parts of their press room, letting go of reporters, letting go of writers, letting go of journalists, award-winning journalists, for who they are allocating that money towards, is troublesome. Because we need to know this stuff, which will benefit not just us from understanding what certain companies are doing and potentially preying on younger kids, but also those who could potentially be preyed on. If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports, and or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
How about you, sir?
I'm here to, state my freedom.
Yeah, it's really important that we sit here and fight for our freedom, because it's like slowly being taken away. Is that right?
Right.
Well, thank you so much for coming here, man. We really appreciate you.
Trump propaganda outlet Right Side Broadcasting was on the ground outside of his Flint, Michigan town hall with, of all people, Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and as expected, they found some of the most unhinged and misguided people out there.
I am looking forward also to spreading the word to those who are undecided. Please, at this point, do your research. Really do some digging. Do your due diligence. And figure it out for yourself. If you're a true Christian, you can't vote Democratic.
Well, one way to protect kids in schools would be to legislate comprehensive gun safety measures like red flag laws, universal background checks, closing private sale loopholes, and banning assault weapons. But to this woman, it's much easier to believe a lie that confirms her bigoted worldview instead of looking inward at the policies her party supports.
I think there's an evil force taking over our country, our world. It's written in the Bible that in the last days this is supposed to happen. So we have to armor ourselves with the armor of Christ, I want to say, and be prepared. We can't do this without Jesus, and this is to be expected. There is certainly an evil force.
This woman is a perfect case study of why Republican voters will never engage in self-reflection and critically think about the consequences of their rhetoric and policies. By reducing our entire political system to a false binary choice of good versus evil, people who think like this deny the objective reality that the same billionaires, special interests, and corporations have captured both political parties, barring a few exceptions, as always. While it is true that the Dems advocate for policies like Medicare for all, paid family leave, and raising the minimum wage, some, by the way, all policies that would improve the material conditions of average everyday Americans, the fact that all of these policies have been shot down in Congress with Republicans fighting tooth and nail to block anything even marginally resembling these policies says all you need to know about the real forces in control of the country.
I think I really just want to hear his heart and his mission. I know what he stands for, but I want to see him as a person. I want to see him in person and see who he really is.
You have a message for the American people.
Pray and vote your values. Don't let the lies get in the way.
That's right. Thank you so much for your support and have fun tonight.
Saying that I know what Trump stands for and telling others to pray and vote your values while wearing a Trump shirt at a Trump rally perfectly encapsulates the cognitive dissonance required to support someone like this.
What's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that.
Donald Trump has always been proud of his daughter.
That if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know?
Stop it! Oh, it's so weird. Stop. You know what? You are sick.
By the way, your daughter.
She's beautiful.
Can I say this? A piece of ass.
Yeah.
She looks more voluptuous than ever.
She's actually always been very voluptuous.
It's
She's
unbelievable.
tall. She's almost 6 feet tall.
Still, Donald Trump repeatedly points out how hot his daughter is, saying last year in a Rolling Stone article, "Yeah, she's really something, and what a beauty, that one. If I weren't happily married, and, you know, her father."
My daughter, Ivanka.
Yeah.
She's 6 feet tall. She's got the best body.
Yeah, she's hot.
Okay. You mentioned the Bible. You've been talking about how it's your favorite book. And you said, I think last night in Iowa, some people are surprised that you say that. I'm wondering what one or two of your most favorite Bible verses are and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. You know, when I talk about the Bible, it's very personal. So I don't want to get into verses. I don't want to get into.
There's no verse that means a lot to you that you think about or cite?
The Bible means a lot to me, but I don't want to get into specifics.
Even to cite a verse that you like?
No, I don't want to do that.
You're an Old Testament guy or a New Testament guy?
Probably equal. I think it's just an incredible. The whole Bible is an incredible. I joke. Very much so. They always hold up the Art of the Deal. I say my second favorite book of all time. They've got to get much tougher. I'm going to go there in the next 2 weeks. I'm going to Springfield and I'm going to Aurora. You may never see me again, but that's okay. Got to do what I got to do. Whatever happened to Trump? Well, he never got out of Springfield. Kamala refuses even to call these criminals, and we're not going to use the term, she said, illegal aliens. No, they are illegal aliens, but she said don't ever use that term. But they're not just illegal aliens. Honestly, they're monsters. These are savage monsters.
These are just a few examples of the values that the MAGA woman is either totally okay with overlooking or consciously okay with him putting out into the world.
Do I believe that actually happened or not? Have no evidence of it. Do I doubt it? I don't know. I can't say thumbs up or thumbs down.
Do you think it shows good judgment on Trump's part to talk about it if it's not confirmed?
I think it shows good judgment for every one of us on every side to look into it. I dare all of us to investigate it. And I live there, so I will.
I think we'll be in the middle of a civil war either way. Doesn't matter who wins. Like he says, it's that polarizing on both sides.
And this is what we get when his lies take on a life of their own.